Welcome, Shey.
Hi, everyone. I was born and raised there, and I moved to the US in 2007. We brought nothing here but dream. Currently, not saying living the dream, but about maybe around 5 or 6 years old when he left. It's not that they disowned me, but deep down inside, it wasn't easy. In my head, I've been trying to do everything right. At the same time, why is everything failing? That's when the depression started. A part of me wanted to give up. That was my rock bottom.
How do you think you will handle failure right now?
Because I have already overcome the hardest situation in my life. I feel like I am way stronger and I am more empowered this time.
Hi, I'm Hayet Ekeleme. Whilst I love a good filter, here's the thing. There are no filters in real life, let's be honest. This is real life, real people, and unfiltered stories. Together, we will inspire and help to change someone else's story. Welcome to Heartfelt with Hayet.
Welcome to Heartfelt with Hayet. Today, joining me is Shey. Welcome, Shey.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
And how are you today?
I am absolutely great. Thank you for asking.
Before we get into your story, I want us to play a quick game.
Okay, love that.
Would you rather live in a world where there is no crime or live in a world where there's no privacy?
With no crime. That means everyone loves each other and there's no hatred, nothing. We understand each other, and I think that's what we need right now in this world.
Nice. I like your answer. Would you rather always be right or always be wrong?
I feel like I'm always right, but I would say probably always right, but with an understanding that I can be wrong.
Okay, so let's get started. So tell us, where are you from originally and where are you living now?
I am originally from the Philippines. I was born and raised there, and I moved to the US in 2007. We brought nothing here but dreams. And right now we are currently not saying living the dream, but we are going towards that path. We have two businesses. One is logistics and the other one is a coffee brand, which will be launching in October. But our business is on the logistics side. So basically what we do is they send in their inventories to us and we pack and ship all of them.
So you're like a fulfillment center?
That is correct.
Then, so you were in the Philippines. How old were you until you moved over?
So I went to school there. After college, I moved here in the US, but both of my parents had been living here in the US for over, I would say 30 plus years. I was about maybe around 5 or 6 years old when he left. It wasn't an easy journey, but we have a very great support, like family support, that it made it easier. But it's different if you don't have parents with you.
So you said growing up without parents, obviously your parents are alive and they were living away. So who were you living with?
I was living with my aunt, and my aunt was very nice. She's really good with us. We were with her for, I would say 16 or maybe 18 years. All the time and effort that she spent teaching us all the values in life never went to waste.
Oh, that is beautiful to hear. So I know that with people who have parents who work abroad, and it's not anything negative on the parents because they're always trying to do the right thing for
right.
Did you ever feel at any point abandoned by your parents?
It's not an easy thing, and I believe it's not going to be easy it wasn't easy for them too, but deep down inside it wasn't easy, growing up without parents. I have one brother with me and it was a little bit tough.
Talk to me about how your journey was as a young adult and how you were like with your school, with your teachers, just growing up. How was it for you?
Growing up, I would say I'm not the best kid. I had my own share of, I would say when I was in elementary, I was very, very good in school up to high school, college. But I was a little bit of a headache when I was in high school. I was not, my teachers can attest to that. I was sheltered, very sheltered growing up. And then all of a sudden, I'm to this new world, like a different world where I can do what I wanted to do without anyone stopping me from doing so. So when you go through puberty stage, there are some things that you just do because you're around with wrong people. So I was like, oh, okay, let me experiment with this. Let me try to do this. But, I guess I would say I had to be careful, and I've learned my mistakes.
What would you say is the biggest mistake you made growing up?
I would say probably not picking the right people, not being surrounded with the right people. And that's a little bit hard for me. I'm not the best person that can read other people well. With me, it's very genuine. What you see is what you get. And that's tough because not everyone is like that. Not everyone show their true colors. So I've had a failed relationship. And, when you're young, you would think the person that you met or at that time is the person you're going to marry.
Am I right in saying that you had a relationship breakdown and at that point you became very, very depressed?
The reason why I left that relationship, it wasn't good for me anymore. It's something that's dragging me down. And to me, part of me thinks, okay, I need to, straighten this out because what would people think about me? I was actually thinking about the people around me more than what I think about myself. But then I've had enough. And that's when the depression started.
Shey, you were saying that as Filipinos, the culture is that no matter what happens in marriage, you're supposed to stay married. And, how did your family take it? How did they respond to the fact that you now had a failed relationship, even though you had 2 kids? And now you wanted to get out of it?
Of course, they weren't happy with the failed relationship, and now I have kids to tend. It's not that they disowned me, but they weren't happy because in our culture, it's very different. Here, it's okay to have divorce. It's okay to have failed relationships. But in my country, it's totally different. You always tend to judge other people, even that you don't even know that person, but you would just like judge them because of something that you think they've done, but it's something that they don't have any control of. I had control of that situation. Of course, I would not let that happen, but it was a blessing in disguise that I moved here because I was away from that type of like that stereotyping of them. And I was like, I don't really care now about what other people think, because if something happens to me, those people are not going to do anything. It's just myself and that's it. So I told myself I even told my parents, I will do whatever I wanted to do, what I think would be best for me. And they did not agree because they're like, oh, look what happened to you. You think that's best for you. And it's not, of course, it's not the best for you right now. But then I told them, no, I'm going to straighten this up and I'm an adult now.
Even as an adult, you found yourself in a very difficult position and you were now falling more and more into a depressed state. Did anything else contribute to your feelings of depression?
There were a lot of contributions or things that contributed to my depression when I moved here, because imagine leaving your life for 21 years in the same country, moving to a different country with a lot of problems. I moved here with nothing, with no friends. I have few friends, but these are not my close friends. I left my life in the Philippines. I went to school, went to college. My parents sent me to school for this, and I'm not going to ruin all their hard work because of this. But at the same time, that what adds on to my depression, because in my head, I've been trying to do everything right. At the same time, why is everything failing? A failed relationship, and now I have kids to tend. A part of me wanted to give up, but a part of me knows that I still have an obligation, a responsibility. And I brought these 2 amazing people in the world. And now what am I going to do? Like, I'm not just going to let them go like that. And mind you, when I moved to the US, it even came to a point that I was admitted to a psychiatric ward. And that was my rock bottom.
Wow, Shey, that is as low as it gets. Talk to us a bit about how it was in the psychiatric ward.
So when I was there at the psychiatric ward, everyone's out of their minds. I can tell their struggles. And I was the same thing, but I have not reached the point that I was talking to myself. They gave me medications, which I never took, because after seeing the people around me when I was admitted in the psychiatric ward for 3 days, even that first day, it already hit me. Like, what am I doing with my life? Seeing the person right next to my bed the whole night. I didn't sleep because I was just like staring at her and she was talking to herself. I felt really bad. At the same time, I told myself, if I would not put myself together, I'm going to end up like her. If I did not have kids at that time of my depression, I think I would lost it. I would have lost it. And that was my turning point in my life. I told myself I would never stay like this and I would try to fight it.
You had a lot to battle with at the time. You
Yes.
were battling with cultural expectations of you.
Mhm.
You were battling with loneliness. You were battling because you had these 2 children that you had to tend to, and battling with your mental health.
Yes.
How did you cope in the end?
I think the thing that made me stronger were my kids. My kids were my savior. And I would say that over and over. At that time, I was telling myself, I am here in the US to have a better life. I've gone through like a hard time in school to finish school and become a doctor. That was my goal. That was the only goal I've had in my life that I had never fulfilled. And that's also part of my depression because I ended up not being a doctor. My parents thought it was a failure from their end because ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a doctor. They always wanted me to be a doctor, but it did not, end up as planned. But now it all makes sense to me because without all those failed relationships, failed jobs, I would not end up, molding and starting my own business. But it was not an easy journey, I would tell you. It was very, 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 very hard. And it's funny because people only see your success. I don't even call it as my success because to me, it's still a work in progress. I am still a work in progress. To me, like if you're successful, it's hard for a person to say, oh, I'm successful, because to me, I believe in success, but I also believe in a work in progress.
So Shey, what would you say is success? What does success look like?
To me, I have a very different perception of success now that I am a mom. Being a mom and being able to guide my kids, to me, that's success. I know for other people, it's the money that drives them. For me, being successful is being able to give the love that my kids needed. And that's the only thing I wanted to do, which I did not know how to do because at an early age, I had kids. And I was very immature at that time. I never thought I would give that unconditional love until I had them. And to me, that's success.
So right now you have a fulfillment center and that's what you do, right?
That is correct.
How did you get there?
We started our Amazon website, and it was just so hard for us to be in the business because there's so many things that you need to learn. And then I realized while we were scaling, I need a fulfillment center myself. But since we're just starting up, we're not doing like 10,000 shipments per day. I've reached out to different fulfillment centers and they don't want to take me because of us being a small seller. And I got together, I was able to network with other sellers who are in the same situation as I am. And that's when I realized, you know what, I need to fill this void. I need to create something that would, help the sellers like me. So we stopped selling on Amazon and we started building our logistics center.
How has it grown since you started?
Oh, we grew very fast. It's something that we had never expected. We scaled up so fast. We've moved out to 3 different warehouses already because we outgrew our warehouse. Actually, last time I was speaking with you, I was at a different warehouse, and yesterday we just signed a lease to a bigger warehouse. We started really small. We started in a storage, actually in my dining room, moved to a storage. A month after, we moved to a small warehouse, and then everything else was a history.
So when your family look at your life now, what they expected that they wanted from you, which is to be a doctor, what are their thoughts? What do they say to you?
Well, they told me that if I was a doctor, I would still not going to be making the same amount as I'm making now. And they said, oh, that's why you didn't become a doctor. because this would suit you better. But that was my challenge. Like, I don't know, should I do it or should I not? That's why I wanted to let whoever, watch this video, if there's something that don't even have second thoughts. Just try it. And if it fails, it's okay. It's like a learning thing for you. But if it does not, then, good for you.
Wow. You are very driven. Where does the drive come from?
I think the drive comes from my past experiences. I've gone through different times of hardship in my life, financially, mentally, physically, and I don't want to go back into that situation again. So everything I do, I try to think one step ahead. I always tell myself, is this something to make my life better? I always ask myself that. If I have a decision that I have to make, I always ask myself, what's the drawback? What's the repercussion of this if this fails? Would it affect my livelihood? Would it make me a better person? And that's what had driven me, because I told myself I would never wanted to go back into that situation. So everything I would do now, I'll try my best to make it better.
How do you think you will handle failure right now in your life?
Failure. After going through that phase, I told myself, you know what? I can face the world with anything right now. I can face any type of problems at this point in my life, because I have already overcome the hardest situation in my life. And I personally think that was the hardest one that I've gone through, my depression, fighting through it, multiple problems, going back and forth. And, moving ahead, if I would encounter something similar, I feel like I am way stronger and I am more empowered this time.
That is amazing. That's a real true success story, and I love to hear it. What would you advise anyone going through depression right now?
It will end for sure. You may think right now that it's never ending. That's how I felt. I literally think it's not going to end. I always question myself, is this ever going to end? Every time I wake up, it's still there. Like, it never goes away. It was a long battle. It was a long battle, and it will be a long battle. But then you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in God. One day it'll end and you will tell yourself, oh, wow, I've overcame that problem. I can face whatever problem in my journey right now.
And that's great to hear it from somebody who's actually gone through it, that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
And finally, Shey, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Choose the right people, choose the right friends, because that's where everything starts. And choosing the right people around you will either make or break you. So always choose your friends, and always remember, you need to put your family first, because friends, one mistake, they would leave you. It doesn't matter if you've been friends for 30 years, you're done once they reach their limit. But with your family, no matter how much you failed, how much mistakes you've done, they would always be there to support you, because you're blood, your family, and that's what family is for.
Shey, where can we find you if we want to find you on your social media?
Okay, you can find my personal social media. It's at just Shey, so JUSTSHEYIT. And yeah, if anyone needs fulfillment, our website is www.packusnow.com.
And is there anything else that you would like to share before we close your interview?
Yes, I would say that, we came here in the US, at least I came here in the US with nothing. Both of my parents are immigrants. We had nothing but dreams. And as long as you are focused on that goal, you will be able to reach it. It's not an overnight thing. You're not going to be a millionaire overnight. You will always have a lot of problems along your journey, but just trust the process, and, God is with you, and you will be able to reach your goals as long as you're focused.
Shey, it's been such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. And I really do hope that your story will go out there. And even if one person reads it or watches this, that they're going to get something out of it. You are an inspiration. Thank you. You keep doing what you're doing. And I can't wait to catch up with you again and to see how things have progressed with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And I always wanted to inspire people. So I hope someone out there, even just one person, just like you said, would be inspired and, will be able to overcome what they're going through right now.
Shey, thank you again. And we'll catch up soon.
Thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.